purchased these flowers from Joann's. I want to use them to make hair accessories. And I was looking at how they were made, and there are two ways they're made. So this one is made with something similar to this. On the bottom is a long piece of fabric with petals on it, and then they're sewn together in a little twist formation like this. So when I pull it apart, I can see that they're sewn together and they're twisted. The same thing as this one. These petals are a little bit more round, the other ones are more oval, but the same thing. Here's the thread that was left over, and they're sewn in little circle formations, and then they're glued on a little round fabric. Stitches right here, little stitches right here. You kind of see a little bit more. They're gathered. And then the other form is these little flower shaped sort of like this, and they're folded together and then just glued one on top of the other on the same back. So you can see this is one flower right here. See, that's one flower. Another one. So they're just glued around again in a circle. And then you can kind of open it up and kind of see that it was a flower. Same thing with this one. It's just a bigger version with more flowers. And then just fold them up. So I decided to try to make them and make my own stencil. So I drew these two out. So this one for the flower one and this one for the sewn one. And I'm going to cut these out. And then I got some chiffon fabric, which is what the flowers are made of, in white and blue. And I'm going to cut them out and try to make these flowers. So I went ahead and I cut out the pattern with scissors. I drew these by hand, but I'm sure you could find something online and print it out if you prefer. I cut out the fabric in strips wide enough to fit the flower, and I folded it a couple times. I made sure the flower would fit around the fabric, and then I just used some pins to pin it down to the fabric. This made it easy to cut the fabric in the shape of the flower. Just make sure that it's not too tight. You don't want any wrinkles, so that it is the correct shape. I used a couple pins, and then I went ahead and cut the flower outlining the paper. This is how it looks. Handle for this. Make sure if you are not an adult to get adult supervision because you don't want to burn anything. I did a test run with this fabric over my sink just in case the fabric burned more than I expected. So always be wary with fabrics. Some synthetic fabrics can burn quite well. This fabric wasn't too bad. So you want a candle that the flame is going to be outside of the jar. You don't want a candle that has been used and is below because it's going to be hard to reach the flame. I found that with this fabric, I just needed a little bit of heat. I didn't need to go over the flame, so I'm going to light it. I went over the flame slowly with the flower fabric. As you can see here, I didn't touch the fabric to the flame. I just went over, and the heat made sure that those edges would not fray. So I did it with all the flowers. Afterwards, I began to fold the flowers and place a little bit of hot glue in between each fold to make sure that the flower would stick. And then I adhered the folded flower onto a round piece of paper. You could also use some felt. And I did this again, and I just placed each folded flower one on top of the other and glued it with some hot glue gun. And I did a circular formation, and I built it up with all of the flowers. And I just kept doing that over and over in a circle until the flower was completely full. I used some hot glue on a hair clip, and I arranged the flowers around it as I desired. This is the final result of how the hair clip looks like after I glue the flowers on, and I glued another piece of fabric underneath the clip just so that it would be more sturdy and more secure. And I glued plastic half pearls, half cylinder pearls in the middle of every flower. This just added a more elegant and additional feminine touch to the clip. And I did the same thing with the other piece of fabric, just running it through the flame slowly. And for the other type of flower, I just used needle and thread of a similar color. In this case, it was white. And I just threaded through the fabric in a zigzag pattern. And then I kind of spread the fabric out. I used a glue gun and a piece of paper. You could use a piece of felt fabric. And I glued the fabric around the circle. And I glued it over each other to give it a full floral look. I used some ribbon that had little gemstones across it, and I cut it into rectangles. I cut 2 pieces, and then I folded them over, and I glued it to the hair clip. I attached a white feather to the hair clip using the glue gun, and then I also attached some of the white flowers right over it to cover the stem of the feather. This is the final look of the hairpiece.